Good morning, Cherokee. You're listening to On the Air with Cynthia and Barbara. We're broadcasting live on Radio Cherokee 103.3 FM.
Ciento Tres, Punto Tres, our favorite.
Here in lovely Alto Boquete, our amazing engineer is Bolivar. Buenos dias, Bolivar.
Hola, Bolivar. Good morning.
And our guest today is the adventurous Ricardo Coigneur of Cafe Kotawa.
Oh!
And he has a very interesting story to share with us on a discovery that he and a group of his fellow hikers made recently. Good morning, Ricardo. Can you hear me? Because we can't hear you right now.
We'll find you.
We'll find you eventually. We're hoping he's connecting by phone. Whoops, what happened there?
Was that a ring?
I'm not sure what that was. Did we lose him? Uh-oh.
Okay,
In the meantime,
I've got a really fabulous announcement. My friend and my neighbor Jose is one of the key people setting up the Boquete Craft and Gastronomic Center, which is located directly across from the 2 Tuesday markets. Finally, they have been allowed to open. They are opening on October 30th, which is this Friday. They will be open from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., and they will offer typical foods, national international crafts, fresh fruits and vegetables, and different varieties of plants and orchids. Please come. I have a feeling it will be on every Friday from 10 to 7, and we look forward to seeing you there.
hey, and it's the Tuesday Markets Day rather than Tuesday Market Day because it's Tuesday 3 markets going on, right?
No, it's not on a Tuesday.
His is on Friday?
Yes, his is on Friday.
Oh, okay. So,
Friday, October 30th, this Friday, it will open. Halloween is Saturday. Just remember, before Halloween, the day before Halloween, 10 o'clock.
10 again. Wow. And we are out 7 days a week now.
Oh!
Yes.
Free!
Hey, I'm hoping that our guests can hear us now. Ricardo, can you hear us?
Yes. Hi. How are you doing?
We're doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
So I've sort of hinted that about what you're going to talk about today. Very exciting news. You found a lake or a lagoon that you had heard about, but nobody knew where it was. Is that true?
Well, yes. I was born here and raised here in Boquete, and I've been hiking all my life, a lot of places in the country. And a lot of times when I spoke to some indigenous people, they would mention about a lagoon that was up in the mountains, way up, close to the Continental Divide. And I also heard from some pilots that used to cross from Bocas to David that there was a nice kind of lake up in the mountains. So we started to look for it, and then I also looked for it on Google Maps and on Google Earth, and it showed up. So we were able to find a location for it. So we took a couple of, hikes to try to find it, and last week we came up to it, and it was very exciting. I mean, it was difficult to get there because it's very rough terrain. There's a lot of landslides that have happened through time, and a lot of cliffs and areas that you just can't pass, so you got to go around and come back down and try to find another route. So we tried to look for it for a couple of times, and then we decided to do it in a different way. So we crossed over to the Boca side, went down towards what's called the Culebra Trail, which is a trail that people used to still use to go to the Rio Changuinola River on the lower side, on the Caribbean side. So we went down that area and we hiked up the mountain from that side and up, and it was easier. And then we got to it. It's a very fascinating place.
Wow.
Wow. How cool. 16 hours. Yikes.
Yeah, it took us 16. Yeah, that was a long day. Actually, we came out at night. And the reason it took us so long is because we did, we were opening up a trail. I mean, with machetes to try to get there, and that slows down the pace that you're walking. A lot of times it's very rough to go. It's a lot of it's hard to get through this very thick forest, and it took us 16 hours. It was 28 kilometers that we walked that day, but on the way back on a shorter route, it's about 9.5 kilometers that we can do it.
Cool.
But still, it's crossing the Continental Divide, going down towards the Boca side, and then hiking up back this way to get to it. It seems to me, if you look at it on Google Earth, you're going to see that it's a very interesting geographical place, because it looks like a crater. So it might have been an old crater that is filled with water. It's all jungle around it. The water was cold. There's not hot water or anything like that. It seems to me that it's something extinct that is filled up with water, and it has on the side that leads towards the Boca side. It's very steep. So it's like a cone that is very, very steep going that way. Coming this way, it kind of goes a little bit up and then down to the Continental Divide, but then there's a lot of cliffs around that area also. But it was fascinating because we saw some types of ducks. We saw different types of birds, and it'd be interesting to see what's in that water. I mean, what kind of there is any kind of fish or anything like that. We don't know how deep it is. That's another thing that needs to be looked at. And the wildlife around it, we saw some plants there that I hadn't seen in other areas, so it might have been very specific to that location. But yes, it's a great adventure.
I'm sure. How many trips did it take you till you actually found it? How many tries?
We tried about 4 times, going in from different directions, until we finally got to it.
Wow, that must have been
Talk
just...
about diligent and ruthless.
And how many of you were together on this trip to find it?
It was 6 of us.
Wow.
And
When you
will you take people there?
Well, I'm happy to take someone, whenever I have a chance. I don't do it as a business. I do it as a hobby, just hiking. Some of the other guys that were with me, they are tour guides that take people up to different places, and so I'm sure that they'd be happy to take people who want to go there on a more regular basis. I'm very busy on other things because I'm more on the coffee and cacao side. We work with coffee. We have the Cotoba coffee business and also the Chocolate Victoria business. So I'm very busy doing other things, and I hike mostly on the weekends when I have a chance.
Wonderful. Thank you.
What was the feeling when you could first see that you were the lake? Because you weren't right on it when you first saw it. I assume you saw it from a distance.
It was a very special feeling because we had been looking for it. We couldn't find it, and actually, I was looking at my GPS, and I was standing probably 10 meters from it, and I didn't see it. And I was thinking maybe this thing dried up because I've been walking around and I can't find it. But the forest is so dense that I had to be, maybe 5 meters from it to be able to see it. So when I kind of finally opened up and I saw the water and the lagoon, it was like, it was a very great feeling. It was a very nice feeling. And it was all kind of foggy and it was like a very mystic place.
Very
Wow.
cool.
Yeah.
I would imagine all of you just shouted out with joy.
Oh yeah, everybody's shouting and happy and especially because it's about nature, and it was very nice feeling to find such a beautiful, peaceful place, and with so much energy. That place has a lot of energy in it because it's so thick, so lush around it, and it's surrounded by this kind of circle of forest, and it's so which is about 20 to 30 meters higher than the lagoon. So that's about 60 to 70 feet, which is it just lies all around the lagoon, and so it's like you're in a very secluded place. So it was great. Yes, it was very very nice.
Wow.
It sounds magical.
It sounds
Absolutely
amazing.
magical.
And so
It-
is
it
it on
happens-
public grounds?
Excuse me?
Is it on public or private grounds?
No, this is national park.
It's
This is
in the national park. Wow.
Yes.
So basically anyone could get there if they know how to get there.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. I mean, you need to be. You need about 5 hours. When now that we open up kind of a trail to get there, but it's a very small trail, and in the forest, in the jungle, those trails are lost in a couple of weeks. It just regrows back, and you don't see any anymore. But if you know the way to get there, it probably takes you about 5 hours to get there and 5 hours to get back. So it's about 10 hours. And it's about a 20-kilometer hike. Now that we have kind of straightened because we took a lot of curves trying to get there, going one side or the other, trying to look for the place. So it is possible you to have a good physical condition. But yeah, I guess it'll be a place where people can go, and I just hope that it's managed in the proper way. I think it will, so that what we always fear about is people kind of trashing or destroying things, but but I think that people are getting more and more conscious every time, and the tour guides, they're being more and more strict and trying to get the people, not to overdo it and not to take too many people, and to have the people understand nature and understand the importance of it, and to take care of it.
Right.
I can't imagine.
Hope so.
I can't imagine taking a 5-hour hike up to a magical place and then leaving a beer can there or something. I
No.
mean, to me, that just seems not the thing you would do if you're going to try to find this place in the first place.
Right.
So you're going there.
You
I
got to
mean,
be really committed to take a 5-hour hike, and the ones of us who are really committed to hiking and really committed to nature, we would never do that.
There
No,
was,
I'm sure. I'm sure it's most hikers are very conscious of that.
Yes.
But there's people that want to go to a place and they don't understand. There's still
Yes.
more education needed on that. But I think that we've come a long way, and it's a lot better than it used to be. So that, which is good.
I'm just in awe of it. Because I'm not a hiker. I don't do well on elevation climbs, but you had quite a difference in elevations that you went through to find this place. I mean, it looked to me on your map, that's on your site, on your Facebook page, I think it is. It looked to me like you were climbing up and down until you finally got there.
Yes, because we had to go. We started off where the Bajo Mono Trail is. So we went up to the Continental Divide, went down towards where it's called Rio Chombo, and we went down to where we met that river, and then we hiked across and up, and then down again to the lagoon.
Was the Bahamano Trail the one that they call the Snake Trail? That's at the bottom of the three waterfalls?
Yeah, but the main trail, that leads to the Boca side, and that used to be that the trail was made a long time ago, back in the '60s, by some people that were colonizing the Caribbean. Some of the area on that side, because if you look at the way of the geography, there is a range of mountains, which is the Continental Divide, that runs east-west. Water from the southern side or Pacific side that we're on when it rains, all those rivers kind of run straight down towards the Pacific, and on the other side, the rivers run down towards the Caribbean. But there is a second range of mountains with lower elevation further towards the Caribbean. So it runs along, it starts up at Cerro Azul, which is the big mountain where the Artilleria, I don't know if you locate where Cerro Azul is, or behind the Boquete Tree Trek.
Yes.
Behind those mountains, there's where it starts. And that second range runs parallel to the continental divide. So it also runs east-west, and it forms a very, very long river basin that rivers, rather than going directly down to the Caribbean, they run alongside this river basin that comes out in Changuinola, which is a long, long river area. And on the bottom of that is they started settling that back in the 60s and making pasture land. So people used to walk from Boquete to that area and back. And that's the trail that people used to go in with cattle and come out with cattle and to go and colonize that. But now after the road was built in Almirante and all of that from Chiriquí Grande, now people just go in and out that way. So this trail is not so much used. It's still being used by some people, but it's been there for a long time since then. So we took that to go down towards a certain place, and then from there we took off, and then we went into the jungle trying to get up to the lagoon, and that's how we found it.
Wow.
Very cool.
That's just so exciting, and the tenacity of going 3-4 times till you finally got to where you wanted to go is amazing.
That's amazing. That's
Well,
awesome.
we had heard about it a lot of times, but once I saw it on Google Earth, and you can see it there, you can see the lagoon there. We knew it was there, so we said, well, if it's there, we'll find it. So yeah, it was nice. It's great hiking around here. These mountains are very, very. They got some spectacular places where you can see the ocean and all the way down towards the mountains. So we had a great time.
Wow.
That's just amazing.
I want to do that hike. That sounds fabulous. I'm in.
Barbara
Sign
wants to
me
do
up.
it. Cynthia does not.
I love it.
Cynthia wants to see the photos from it. Cynthia does not want to go there. Not unless they have a really nice, easy path, which isn't going to happen.
Yeah, so if anybody wants to go, I assume there are two well-known guides here, which are Plinio Montenegro and Israel Guerra. Those two guides, they're very well known, and I'm sure that they'd be happy to take people over there.
Are they in Volcan or Boquete?
No, they're in Boquete.
Oh, okay, great.
Could
Because we started the snake
could
trail.
you repeat their names again?
Yeah, one is Plinio
Plinio, that's my
Plinio
massage.
Montenegro,
My massage therapist's husband.
and you can find him very easy on the web. Plinio Montenegro, and the other one is Israel Guerra. So those two guys, they're very accessible, and I'm sure that be happy to help anybody who wants to go see it.
And I am sure that besides Barbara, there are other people listening that are going, I want to go.
Yeah, let's do it. Call me, we'll do it.
So excellent. Barbara's got her phone in her hand ready to call these guys saying, I want to go to now.
Right now.
Right now. We'll sleep
This
there,
moment.
come back tomorrow. So if you don't go within the next week, probably. Well, I don't know. How long ago did you find this place?
We found it about last Saturday, not this Saturday, but about 10 days ago, Saturday before that.
So it's very likely that a lot of that path is no longer there.
No, those when you're cutting through the jungle, and especially if there's more than 3 or 4 people, because the ground is soft, so really, and you're hiking in steep terrain that goes up and down, so you kind of leave a track that is kind of well seen for probably about a month. After a month, then it starts to get lost. But even if nobody goes there, we've tracked it all with GPS, so the coordinates are there, and we don't need to go around anymore trying in zigzag trying to get there. We have the tracks on GPS, so it's for those guys to be, even if it's more than 1 month, it'll be very easy to follow a GPS track and get there.
I know that when my son hikes in the forests in Colorado up in the mountains, that if he's hiking and there's no particular trail there, that he'll tie ribbons and things to trees to help mark it. Did you leave any kind of marks to help mark it, or is it just on the GPS?
No, we left some markings. So there's some these color strips that we tie to in certain areas when you're if you're going straight way, when you kind of make turns and things like that. Once in a while, you hang a color strip, and it's very easy for people to see on the distance. As long as it's not covered, but you can see it through the jungle, and that helps a lot of people kind of when they're walking to see that there was somebody walking through there, because any other form of marking that you do, it will be lost very fast.
What about, did you encounter any wild animals as you were walking through the jungle to get to this beautiful lake?
Yeah, well, we crossed a river there, and as soon as we crossed it and started hiking up, we heard a noise, and there was a tapir.
Oh, cool!
That kind of walked up the mountain, and then it disappeared. So
nice.
Yeah, it was a tapir, and there's some they call them pava, which is a big black bird that it's like a hen, but they live on the trees, and a lot of birds, many different birds. On the starting of the trail, we saw some monkeys. So there's a lot of wildlife around there.
That sounds so amazing. I saw a tapir in. I went on a tour of outside of the Osa Peninsula in a cloud forest, and the tapir, of the 10 top animals to find, the tapir was the one that was the absolute jewel in the crown, like the gold standard. If you could find the tapir, all the rest of the animals didn't matter to our guide. And I remember seeing the tapir, and he was huge, shockingly huge.
Yeah, they're big animals.
Yeah,
they
really
weigh
amazing.
500-600 pounds easily.
Is that a cat? Is it a type
No,
of cat?
it's like an anteater, but huge.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
It doesn't have an anteater butt. It's more like, it's got an anteater nose, kind of,
Like
but
a
it's
snout?
big, like an elephant butt.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like a cross between a horse and an elephant, and it's not tall, but it's very kind of massive.
Yes.
It's thick and it's heavy. It's like a pig with a big long nose.
Yes.
Oh, I know what it is.
So-
Right.
You would see it and you'd recognize it in 2
Yeah.
seconds.
Yeah. I would assume that there's a few large cats up there also, though.
Well, there must be there are. I saw some tracks of mountain lions. We saw some tracks. There must be jaguars around those areas. And manigordo, which is some other type of cat. But yeah, there's a lot of those.
What do you take to keep yourself safe in terms of wildlife when you're hiking in there?
They're not dangerous. None of those animals. You never hear of anybody being attacked by one of those animals. The only way they would attack somebody if they're cornered,
Yes.
and they feel threatened. But if you're walking in the jungle and they see you, I've seen a lot of all of these. I've seen jaguars. I've seen mountain lions. They see you and they kind of, they just look the other way and they walk and they go away. They are not even going to stand there to face you up. They'll turn around and they walk away.
Okay.
So
good.
none of them are dangerous.
I think that if you were by yourself and literally running through the jungle,
You
that
can't
you
run
would
through it,
find
it's too
you
loud.
would find that a mountain cat would be interested in you.
It's so rugged, it's so rocky and
But you
wet.
can't do it. I mean,
No.
Well, they're not big enough. People are too big for what they normally prey for. So they're normally preying for smaller. You occasionally you hear that a jaguar attacks a calf or a smaller, or a bigger animal, or an infant of a bigger animal.
Right.
But they're never. But normally they don't attack anything that is probably more than 30 pounds, 20, 30 pounds, 40 pounds. And in case they do attack an animal like a calf or something like that, it's because they see him walking around and they see him in nature. These animals are afraid of people. Even if they see you, sleeping around, they're not going to attack you. I've hiked all my life and never ever has any, and I've been in front of many of them. And you don't hear about anybody being attacked by one of them. I mean, it would be it would have to be something of a threat for them to attack you.
and there's plenty of other food available to them. They're not starving up there.
Oh no, they're not starving. There's a lot of food around there.
Well, it was interesting because I was hiking over a tree trek the other day, and one of the local workers there that were putting in the finca shooed me away and said, "Cuidado," because there was a very big cat that was prowling around in the tree trek area. And the day that he told me about it, they did not have the cows or the horses in their usual place. All the animals were gone from the area. They moved them somewhere else because this cat was prowling and trying to get food, I guess, which was surprising to me. I hike there all the time, and I never even think about seeing anything like a wild cat.
Yeah. Well, we don't have. I'm the owner of the tree trick, so okay. So maybe we don't have horses there, so we don't have other animals. And what did happen is that we had some rabbits, or the long, how you call them in English and in Spanish, we call them liebres, which is the white rabbit that they're not from this area. You raise them a lot of times around your house, but they're not in nature here. Do you know which type of rabbit I'm talking about?
Like a hare
Yeah, the how
with
do I-
long legs and longer body than a
no,
rabbit.
with the long ears,
Yes.
the white ones,
Yes.
the white or black ones that sometimes you can buy them in when they're small, and then you raise them around your patio.
Yes.
So we had a few of those, and a cat came and ate them. But they are small animals. Remember, we're talking about an animal that is 3 or 4 pounds.
Right.
Ah.
And they saw it was a black cat, so it was probably a black panther or something like that. And it ate those small rabbits. But and actually, they were telling people. I don't know how they told it to you, and if he said maybe he overstated what was happening.
Yeah.
Because so we were telling people, just if you're walking around, beware, because there is a cat here that have eaten those rabbits. And actually, we had like 4. It ate all 4 of them, and then we never saw it again. So the
Interesting.
food was gone, and the animal was gone, and it
Interesting.
did it at night. And so again, you can make a lot of stories about these animals,
Yeah.
but they're cautious. They come in, they look for a small prey, something that they know it's an animal that they can catch, and they will catch it, they will eat it, and then if it's not there anymore, there's no more food, and they just walk away into the jungle. So we haven't seen that animal, and again, I wish I had seen it. It was a big cat because I saw the tracks that it left.
Yeah.
But yeah, after he had its meal, then it kind of went away. But we don't have horses or bigger animals there, and it would have never those animals don't go behind or after those bigger animals.
That's good. I mean, when the man was probably 6 feet, maybe 6'1", and he held his hand up to his waist and said, "This big," and I've seen wild cats, and I've never seen one that big before, so I was out of there. But I'm glad to hear that he's moved on. Good.
Yeah, he moved it. That's maybe like the fisherman. You catch a fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, after 3 or 4 times you say it just keeps growing. It's the only animal that grows after it's dead.
Yes.
There was a cat on your land that was 12 feet high.
Yeah.
Well, this gringo bought it, hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah. Hey, I think we're going to take a musical break for a second here, because you didn't, in your hike, you didn't find, that the altitudes and the amount of climbing you had to do and descending, none of that was too high for you. So we're going to just play a song that goes along with that, I think.
All right.
Let's see.
Ain't no mountain
All right.
high.
Here it comes. Any second.
Just call my name, I'll be there in a hurry. You don't have to worry, 'cause baby there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you, baby.
Remember the day I set you free? I told you you could always count on me, darling. From that day on, I made a vow I'll be there when you want me, some way, somehow.
Oh baby, there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you, baby.
Oh no, darling.
No wind, no rain, or winter's cold can stop me, baby.
No, no, baby.
'Cause you are my goal.
Trouble, I'll be there on the double. Just send this for me, oh baby.
My love is alive, way down in my heart, although we are miles apart.
If you ever need
A helping hand, I'll be there on the double as fast as I can. And don't you know that there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you, babe. Don't you know that there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough, ain't no mountain high enough.
Right back in my car, my little red bug, dashing down the street and dancing my head off. Oh, that was fun.
Welcome back. You've been listening to Ain't No Mountain High Enough, Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell.
The best.
Takes us way back, but as we were talking to Ricardo, that wasn't any mountain or river that stopped him from getting to that beautiful lake. Is that right?
Yeah. A lot of nice, great rivers to cross. Challenging, but yeah, great rivers.
Yeah. I just, am in awe of what you did and
Totally.
how you found it, and just amazing. So you also have quite a bit of coffee. You have Cafe Katawa. You grow coffee, is that correct?
Yes, I grew up in a coffee farm. I was born here in Boquete, and I grew up. My grandfather was Canadian, and he read about Boquete. He came and liked it very much, and came back a couple of times, and then met my grandmother. She was from here, so he decided to retire in Canada. He had been major. He had been member of parliament and had some business there. So he kind of left everything there, came here, married my grandmother, and started working with coffee. So it's with me, it's 3 generations. My kid, we've been 4 generations in coffee already, and we are here in Boquete. We have farms in different locations because with coffee, Panama has a very unique condition that a lot of other countries would envy, and it's the fact that we have a lot of microclimates. If you notice, sometimes it can be raining towards the continental divide, and it can be very dry in Alto Boquete. And as you move around, there are different areas with different climatic conditions, and that creates microclimates. And microclimates, like in wine, they're part of the terroir, and they have a lot of influence on the final flavor of the, in this case, coffee. So we have farms in these different areas because we produce coffees that are aimed at different markets: U.S., Europe, Asia, Australia. So yeah, we've been in coffee for quite a while.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Of course, the Catawba name is very famous, and all of us who have been here are very familiar with it.
And we've all had coffee at your
Delicious.
cafe at least once or twice
At
in
least.
different places.
Occasionally,
At
very
least
much.
once or twice.
at least 5 a day.
Yeah. I was just going to ask you something.
So-
Now I forgot what it was. That happens at my age, I guess.
So no, I was talking about coffee, and that kind of led me into cacao. So I was with a friend, and I was in Colombia, and I went to see a cacao farm, which grows in the lower lands, not in the higher lands, and there was a lot of similarities in the way cacao had to be treated, and it had to be fermented, and it had to be dried and roasted and ground, and then made chocolate. So I was very curious and amazed at the way it was grown and processed. So I kind of started looking for a place. I was in Bocas One, and I saw a farm and there, and it came up for sale, so I bought it. And we started producing cacao, and then from there we had to learn how to make chocolate, and then we opened up the Victoria Chocolate, Catawba Victoria Chocolate place in town.
The one
And-
by up on the other end of town here.
The new,
Yeah.
the new
The new one.
building.
Oh my goodness.
It's
I
beautiful.
love that place.
Yeah, it has a little bit different style because it's more towards chocolate. And we opened that about a year and a half ago. Actually, almost 2 years now
Wow.
that we opened it up. So
Is
So,
it
yeah,
open
so-
now?
it's open now.
Yeah.
it's
Wow.
open.
The
I
gates
mean,
open
if you haven't been there, you want to go there. You want to have any piece of chocolate you see in that cave.
Or all of them.
Actually, you want all of them, but you can't have all of them. Maybe you can. I don't know. I can't.
Thank you. Well, you can always go back. You can always go back.
Exactly.
Set up a little tent.
Yeah, well,
and then
I
you can
like
en-
to eat lunch at one of your neighbors, and of course I head over to your place for dessert.
Thank you. No, and we do all kinds of, I mean, we do 60%, 70, 80, 90. We do 99% bars. Actually, the other 1% is a bit of salt that you need to put in it, and it's a bit of, it's an oil that it helps for the way it melts. So it's basically 100%. We do have 100% as a brew, but as a bar, most of the times you it's hard to go over 99 without putting any chemicals in it. Actually,
Yeah.
we don't put because it's salt and lecithin is the other thing that we put.
Right.
So,
Which
but
goes
that's
in
maybe-
cheeses too.
Yeah, correct. And it's about 0.5% that we put. So it's very small amount. It's just to help the way it melts. So you can choose from any kind of chocolate. You can also enjoy it with a glass of wine there. So you can pair chocolate and wine very well.
Yes.
There was a film festival this weekend, and there was a film on coffee. I forgot what the name of the film was. Um, Goodness, I don't remember the name of the film, but I went to look at it this week or last night because I finally remembered that it was only going to be available until late last night, and I went to look at it, and as I'm watching the trailer for it, it becomes unavailable.
Damn.
Wow.
And the trailer was amazing, and it's still available, I think. But I can't watch the film now, and it just broke my heart that I couldn't see it.
It was made
Well, it-
here.
It
It's
was
a-
made
I
here.
read
Yeah.
something about it on Facebook, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it sounded really
It'll
interesting.
be available, but now it'll be at a cost.
I'm
so
willing
you-
to pay it.
Yeah,
I'm
And
willing to pay it.
I strongly recommend people to see that because it's a very nice story. It's a story of how Panama went from being nobody in the world of coffee. We're a very tiny coffee in the production world because Brazil produces 50 million bags of coffee. Costa Rica produces 2 million, as well as most of the Central American countries, and we barely produce 200,000.
Wow.
Oh, that's so interesting.
What
and
I found interesting in just seeing the trailer was the idea of gourmet coffee is relatively new.
Yes, it started out in the 90s probably, and that's basically when we kind of started with the association. And basically the story goes that we were pretty much all broke with coffee, and we had to take a decision: either cut down all the coffee area and plant maybe vegetables or something like that, or do something with coffee. And we formed the Specialty Coffee Association, and we started working from there. And a lot of changes have happened. I think that Panama was lucky to be in the right place, in the right time, and with the right product, and everything converged so that we could lead the way. Today, Panama is seen as the elite country of high-end coffees. Panama has broken all the world coffee prices, and it's leading towards making out of coffee something that similar to what was made from wine, where you have a whole array of different types of wines, and you have more wines that are more accessible to a lot of people, and you have some very, very sophisticated wines that may be very expensive. So something along those lines has happened in the last 20 years, and Panama has led the way on that. And it's very interesting the way, it was produced by a guy here in Panama. His name is Stuart Svensson. He's the owner of a food distribution company, and he became in love with this story, and he decided to put it on a documentary. So it's very. It takes you along through the world and to Panama on how it just evolved and how it came to where it is. And it's a history about collaboration, tenacity, vision, and work. And it's very nice.
Wow, I want to see it.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, I actually had tears in my eyes when I realized I couldn't see it last night because I really wanted to see it before we spoke today. But I will be watching it. I will pay and I will see that film. There's no doubt in my mind about it. We have a couple of quick announcements that we need to make. Barbara, do you want to make those?
Okay, I've got one of my own, so I'll let that be last. The ones I've got are, as we know, the curfew has been extended from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. 7 days a week. Stores and restaurants are open, and so are trails and beaches. Masks are mandatory everywhere. Hola! No food or drinks allowed at the beaches except what is sold there, and the family pot is restricted to 7 people. 7. Private parties and dancing, of course, are not allowed. Tuesdays are market day, BCP Market at the Feria, and the Tuesday Market at Tap Out, which is also hosting a Tuesday chat this week
This week.
at 10:30. I'm not sure if the local artisan market is open. I will make an announcement about that. The library, and where will the talk be held?
in the theater, is my
Oh.
understanding.
Okay. The library is now
And
open.
Al Stefanelli is giving the talk about what the rules of men's are right now.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I want, and there's going to have to be probably only a half capacity. That theater
I think
seats
it's
100.
I think
so
it's
it'll be 50.
Yeah, 50 or 25% even.
Oh, okay. So the library is now open lunes, martes, and jueves. The
Monday,
hours
Wednesday,
are
Friday.
9:30 to 3:30. And Separation Day. This holiday is always celebrated on November 3rd. Separation Day celebrates the independence of Panama from Colombia in 1903. It is Panama's national day. Offices will be closed, as are some businesses. Panama has an Independence Day public holiday on November 28th, but that holiday marks independence from Spain in 1921. And I want to add to these announcements, my friend Jose sent me information about the Boquete Craft and Gastronomic Center, which is finally opening this Friday and every Friday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. They have typical foods, national and international crafts, fresh fruit, vegetable sales, different varieties of plants and orchids for sale, and a very important point, it's pet friendly, so you can bring your little guys along with you. Please come out and welcome them back. I know they've been working on this project for a long time and waiting so long to have everybody come and celebrate with them this Friday at 10 o'clock. Be there, be square. Thank
And
you.
Pizzeria Brasilissimo just arrived here and brought us this absolutely gorgeous looking. Is that pasta or
Sim, uma pasta ravioli, 4 queijos,
raviolis?
Oh, you can
Cheese
smell it.
raviolis, and then on
Cheese
top of it is
raviolis.
all kinds of gorgeous vegetables and cheeses and red
Gorgeous,
pepper and yellow
gorgeous.
pepper and red onion and oh my gosh, it looks absolutely scrumptious. And they're
Bolivar's licking his lips.
he knows that he's going to be eating well at lunch today. Let's have your phone number again.
6546 5663
6546
56
5663.
Exato.
That's,
should know that by
and that's
now.
on WhatsApp. It's on WhatsApp.
WhatsApp, Facebook,
Facebook, Facebook.
You can eat in.
Eat
you can,
in,
You can
order.
order to take out and delivery.
Exacto.
11 a.m. to 10
11
p.m.
10 p.m.
Oh, just
to
10
10
p.m.
p.m. 7 days a week, and they are located on the main street into Boquete.
Right across from Big
And
Daddy's,
I-
maybe.
Calle Principal, em frente a Big Daddy. Calle Principal, cerca del parque.
It's
Los-
near
los
the
locales
near the
nuevos.
park, about across from Big Daddy's.
Yep.
Yes.
And you'll
So-
see it. It's got yellow streamers on it. In
Yellow
front.
and green.
Yellow and green.
Yes,
Yellow and
yes.
green, the colors of Brazil.
Exactamente. Tenemos pizzas, pastas, carnes, pescados, pizzas, pastas, meat, fish, camarones,
shrimp.
Sí,
Wow,
very, very
deliciosos.
good. Exacto. Pizza de camarones. Tenemos pizza de camarones, pastas com camarones. Muy rica la manera que hacemos y hay una diversidad de pastas con camarones. Muy rico para que prueben.
Yeah, it's
Every-
good
every
food
week
with a
that we-
slight Brazilian
Flair.
flair to it. It's really yummy. So something you got to try. Again, the number is 654-65663. Pizzeria Brasilissimo.
Open every day. Open every day.
Very
11 p.m.
11 a.m. 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day.
Don't
So if you
miss
haven't
it.
been there or you haven't ordered from them, do so now.
Please do.
I think it's almost. Are we almost out of time?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
3 minutes.
Uh-oh. We have, I have somewhere in here a closing thing to say. Oh, yeah, I do. I'm going to, hey, Ricardo, are you still with us?
I'm still with you.
Have you ever had any food from Pizzeria Brasilissimo?
No, I guess I need to go check it out.
I think you do.
You do.
You do. You know, bring them a cup of your coffee and ask for pizza or something.
Right.
All right.
So we're going to do a little bit of a sign off here now. Thank you for tuning in to On the Air with Cynthia and Barbara on Radio Cherokee 103.3 FM.
Ciento tres,
Punto tres. Thank you, Bolivar, for engineering our show. Thank you to Radio Cherokee 103.3 for hosting the show. Thank you to Ricardo Coiner. Did I pronounce that right?
Coiner.
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 Coiner. Yeah.
Ricardo Coiner.
Yeah.
Remember, when you go out, wear a mask, wash your hands often, and keep yourself and your community safe. On Fridays, you can listen to Al Stefanelli's broadcasts from 10 to 11. And then at noon, I believe it is now, it's
Yes.
Mike Weber's Wonderful Strange Brew music on Fridays, and then rebroadcast in another hour here on Radio Cherokee. And then Dr. Shannon is talking with your doctor on Saturday mornings from 10 to 11.
Let me just make a statement here. If
Okay.
anybody out there in Radio Land is interested in taking that hike that we just heard about, I will arrange it. Facebook, just message me, and we will get Plinio or whoever is available to take us on that hike, because I think it's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. For
Barbara Fiorucci on Facebook, message me.
Okay, so talking with your doctor is from 10 to 11, and you might need that after the hike. No, probably not. Probably not.
If we survive it.
Don't forget Pizzeria Brazilissimo, serving up pizza, pasta, chicken, and fish with a Brazilian flair. Now that we're out and about 7 days a week, remember to help keep your community clean. You know, you can add a little more exercise to your daily walk by bending down and picking up the litter you see.
And wearing your mask.
And Basura Busters is back in business.
Oh!
They started this last Saturday, and they planned on Saturday because at the time Sundays weren't open yet.
Oh, nice.
So they had their first this last Saturday, and I don't know if next week it's going to be on Saturday or Sunday, but hey, you know, Basura Busters does a great job, and we love them.
Is it Molly and Mike running it again?
Yes,
Oh,
it
fabulous.
is.
Welcome home.
Well, they're not home yet, but they
Oh.
have other people that went out on it. So
Well, we're glad to
thank
have you back.
They will be home soon. Thank you, everyone, for listening to On the Air with Cynthia and Barbara. Have a safe, healthy, and wonderful week. We'll be on the air next Monday. Thank you, Ricardo. We enjoyed talking
Oh,
to you and
so
learning
wonderful,
everything.
Ricardo. Thank you.
Thank you.
See, we'll be on the air again next Monday with more talk and a little music.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you when I go out. Yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. If I get drunk, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who gets drunk next to you. And if I heaver, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who's heavering to you. But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more just to be the man who walked 1,000 miles to fall down at your door. When I'm working, yes, I know I'm gonna be the man who's working hard for you. And when the money comes in for the work I do, I'll pass almost every penny on to you. When I come home, oh, I know I'm gonna be the man who comes back home to you. And if I drove, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who's going over you. But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more just to be the man who walks 1,000 miles to fall down at your door. Well, I know I'm gonna be the man who's lonely without you. And when I'm dreaming, well, I know I'm gonna dream about the time when I'm with you. When I go out,